everyone, welcome. I published online many years ago in quite a few offerings that 2020 and 2021 would be big years of change. Also my astrology jigsaw video 2019, my conceptual fiction book Kaylin 2012, and more recently my Elite Full Throttle series all predicted much that came to pass. And many of you good souls also worked it out yourselves. Hey, look at us! This offering will look at navigation through 2022, 23, 24, as these will hold an increasingly similar energy in the same trajectory. In 2025 to 27, some bigger and different changes and events will happen, which will in the long term help the side of harmony and evolution, and I'll talk about them nearer the time. Warning, this presentation contains spoilers. Now this offering will be more solutions based, as the days of journalizing nonsense regularly is hard to keep up with, it's draining and it's super reactive. At the start of 2022 we need something more proactive, and it's safe to say the ones now aware are the ones now aware. And the Normie Lemmings are the Normie Lemmings. The line has already been drawn. Trying to crack the shell of any Normie Lemmings now is near impossible, as they are injected with elite mutant juice more than once. So let's talk to the aware about solutions. So Kali Yuga is the age we are in now, the most dense one. Yuga means era or epoch, and Kali is an aspect of the Divine Mother, an aspect of dark destruction that rules over death and time. This is the darkest and most dense era in the Vedic cycle of the epochs. How long each Yuga goes on for is hard to know, as many Vedic scholars disagree. Apocalypse is a much misunderstood word from Greek, meaning uncovering, a disclosure or revelation of great knowledge. Many are slowly waking up in this time, but there isn't many that have gained an abundance of truth by finding a need to divorce from nearly every mainstream political, scientific, historical, economic, journalistic, educational and religious narrative, and invoked a spiritual path. Easily less than 1% of us. Yeah, a few more percent have worked out the Rona isn't real, and yeah, a few more percent upon that worked out that the Rona numbers and rules are a little strange and maybe something fishy is going on. There is no simple or polite way to tell the masses they've dedicated their soul carnation in this realm to living an illusion. We will structure this offering as follows. 1. What is going on? Where is the elite agenda hoping to go? 2. Earth solutions. 3. Water solutions. 4. Air solutions. 5. Fire solutions. And 6. Ether/spirit solutions. This will make more sense and unfold as we go. Let's get started. So where are we at now, and where is this going? The current trajectory. And when I say where we are at now, I mean collectively, big picture humanity trajectory, things many people can't see or refuse to see. We can't navigate a collective challenge if we don't know the collective challenge. And wow, they really did it, didn't they? They really pulled on the throttle. Not full throttle yet though. And this is all going to start moving faster and faster, so much so we will probably have to switch from popcorn to peanuts soon. Humanity is in amnesia. Nobody knows objectively how humanity got here, and none of us know physically really where we are, as the cosmology is lied about and incomplete. So there is a trauma in the collective subconscious. Of course, our soul path brought us here, and this is a spiritual realm to evolve the soul. But objectively, much of humanity's hows and whats and whys have been cut off from us by a group of elite families. To clarify, there is an elite full throttle agenda by a group of powerful families, about 300 to 500 people, that have control of their puppet governments, world media, World Economic Forum, United Nations, WHO, CDC, Big Pharma, military, think tanks, central banks, universities, schools, corporations, and centralized big tech. Bit greedy if you ask me. And this elite used different NLP tactics for different languages and different countries to further their agenda. COVID, the Rona, has become the elite's platform and vehicle, the base of the cake, much more easily than they could have ever dreamt of. We could go into depth on these variants, which we will call scariants, but most of you get the occult symbolism at play by now. Airborne viruses are a fictitious cartoon myth, as I shared in a 2018 Musings episode. Remember when the Rona first started? Fake images of people dropping down dead in China, never seen since. Remember this too? What are you going on about? So here is a rundown of each of the elite's agendas. I personally would rather skip this section, but it is required. Many people will switch off in this section as they prefer to ignore. That's perfect really, as then they won't get the solutions, or if they skip this section, the solutions won't make much sense. I don't seek to cast pearls before swine anymore. Remember, most of the following require your consent and compliance, and the elite know this, each using mandates launched from their controlled media, which aren't laws, which aren't really anything. The elite are layering up their spells. They are going full throttle with additional mutating Rona scariants that escape previous mutant juice injections. More lockdowns, and now mandatory mutant juice is ramping up in many countries. Regular mutant juice injections called boosters are now needed in a COVID pass to fly about and do other things. The term being fully vaccinated is a forever open-ended term. Accepting the COVID pass and QR codes to function is actually a massive pivotal time in history. A green tick on a smartphone has become the new police, government, boss, bouncer, gym entrance and travel authority. If this COVID pass is fully accepted, the elite have a massive win and progress jump. They should really be called participation passes really. There's actually no logical reason for COVID passes, as in their narrative the injections don't even stop transmission. The COVID pass, if accepted, will open up a new whole world of AI control infrastructure, which is already ready and waiting in the wings. Civilization is about to be restructured, and 99% don't even know. The COVID pass is the death sentence of freedom. If people don't create solutions soon, it will get harder. There are even some reports recently of Brazil's Ministry of Health mutant juice database being hacked and all data removed. At first glance it looks like good news, but as I said in 2020, this would likely occur and possibly end up being the catalyst for a dot/sticker/tattoo on the skin to hold the data. Problem, reaction, solution. They're making it super confusing to know where you can and can't travel to, constantly changing rules and regulations, discouraging many from moving about. Amazingly, some purebloods who are against the mutant juice still think COVID is a real virus. Now this PDF in the description will explain in scientific method terms how airborne viruses are a myth and that Rona and the testing is just a fake mind trick. In 2022, they are coming for the purebloods in a big way, demonizing the purebloods, creating a two-tier society, employment, sport, cafes, cinemas, gyms, hairdressers, shops, all the deep matrix nonsense, banned for the purebloods, and the mutant juicers want someone to blame. They are using the compliant mutant juicers as gatekeepers. The mutant juiced have become bonded. Their inner trauma, anger and aggression, their lack of bonds and belonging are all now appeased. They feel connected in solidarity and can direct their inner anger. The absurd measures and rules they actually love, as it appeases a deep human subconscious need for ritual with sacrifice. They now have a belonging, with psychosis mindsets like, if I got the mutant juice, you should all too. It's the rules. Many of these mutant juicers were already complacent and cowardly, with low levels of morality, integrity, authenticity, or principles. The forces of darkness wanted them and now have them. Fines are now coming in for the purebloods, which translates to being fined just for being alive organically. It's abusive darkness. By late 2022, quarantine camps will be all over the show. They are already being built, many of them. Just look for yourself. The military will be involved much more by mid-2022. It's one thing posting on Facebook that you will never have the mutant juice, but the reality of spending time in a quarantine camp with your children, and many will find they have a very weak breaking point. They are coming for the kids too. A 6-year-old just being at school is now in many places consent itself for mutant juice injections. But you consented to neglecting your children and giving them over to elite-controlled left-wing strangers to teach them solipsism, fake scientism, gender confusion, and to prepare them for AI. So it's somewhat on you. And humanity is now split into 2 DNA races, those with their DNA mutating and those not. We will get into the spiritual connotations of this later. And there are so many places where the elite openly admit they are modifying human DNA. This was covered in depth in the Elite Full Throttle series. A lot of mRNA testing was stopped a few years ago as animals were dying or going crazy. Now let's have a little rundown on what these mutant juice injections could actually be for. Number 1, to reduce population via deflated immune system, heart damage and sterility. Number 2, to remove spiritual awareness, third eye activation and auric etheric sensitivity. Number 3, to mutate DNA ready for AI to plug into towards smart city DNA social credit score grid, as was in my Kalin book. 4, possible attack on the soul so one can't reincarnate or go further spiritually. Number 5, 5G connection in some way to trigger mutant juice nanobots to control people to perform actions, thoughts or emotions. 6, in a few years they could deploy a bioweapon masquerading as a new virus, taking out many purebloods and those only taken 3 or less mutant juice hits. The elite know those not complying are their enemy. At the moment they are just putting virus into the consciousness. It's very early days. So out of those 6, take your pick. If we were playing bingo, maybe it's a full house. But it's all quite exciting though, isn't it? Life got very real, very quickly. You are the star in a big, crazy sci-fi movie. Okay, let's get back to the agendas, as this isn't all about mutant juice. Under the false narrative of climate change, they are slowly removing gas and petrol to make energy electronic, controllable and rationable. A false flag climate disaster is coming in the next 3 years for sure, could be linked to the ocean or a city like Delhi, but it will come. Then they will bring in climate lockdowns and seek to add your individual carbon footprint to your CBDC and mutant juice AI digital wallet. Then later they will fuse these, creating carbon credits. Rationed energy as currency is a big goal for 2030. Years ago I blew the lid on the climate change fake narrative in an undercover interview in Germany, link in the description. There is a media blackout on these massive protests. It's no coincidence Australia, Germany, Austria, Holland, France, Romania, UK have some of the toughest Rona oppressions and the biggest revolt protests. They are coming for the white man. Why no big protests in Saudi Arabia, Beijing, Jakarta, Buenos Aires, Tokyo, etc.? The elite have a bit of a problem with England and Holland, both very fighty and very tough, both small nations but both colonised much of the world. Exploring and fighting is in their DNA, pretty smart people. The elite really need to get their think tanks working overtime. Yeah, stopping them going in the pubs, pretty clever, but they'll need another play. I don't see how the elite are going to win over Rotterdam and Liverpool without the military, But that play would wake even more up to the agenda, and then other cities would pop too. Now, white men are historically fighty and think in terms of societal structures, so they've been feminizing men and masculining women in white countries for over 2 decades. For white alpha or sigma males that created the label of toxic masculinity, they know the strong masculine protects and fights. In this war on masculine energy, they use the BLM PSYOP, promotion and adoration of homosexuals and trannies, gender confusion, sprinkle in a few million immigrant hardline Muslims labelled as refugees, and in early 2022 we can safely say the white alpha has become a dying breed and the elite are programming a road to a genderless and raceless human 2.0. They are even bringing in laws so men don't approach women in public places in the UK. They are ramping up the 5G and chemtrails too, but everyone is struggling to keep up with these as there is just so much going on. They are increasingly squeezing the food supply chain and blaming it on a lack of truckers. The effects of this should hit February time. They are increasing the narrative of lab-grown meat already being sold and munched in Singapore, a flagship NPC idiot city. They are squeezing the world supply chain of materials and goods by leaving cargo boats stranded, unable to dock at ports, and blaming it on the Rona. Again, around February you will see the effects of this. They are ramping up a mental narrative of China, Russia and Iran being in some enemy gang to the EU, USA and Australia. They can sprinkle this in the cake whenever they choose, via a TV war or false flag cyber attack. They are looking to increase internet control and censorship, which they've gone really full throttle on the past year or two. There really should have been uproar when search engine personal filtering came in, but not enough understood what was happening technically. We are at a stage where anyone left on YouTube pretending to spout truth is probably a shill. The UN have even started to take down private websites. Odyssey is really the only safe place for video uploads, maybe BitChute a little bit. Remember, if your voice had no power, they wouldn't try to censor you. The AI agenda is really progressing behind the scenes. Looks like New Zealand will be a test bed. Read this at your pleasure. Korea are testing AI facial recognition to track the Rona. All those sci-fi dystopia movies we watched for fun were predictive programming. One big danger coming soon is the metaverse, a mental abomination, an enemy of the natural divine world, tens of billions of dollars already invested, many virtual reality worlds already alive and full of people and corporations. Our attention used to be 99% on our physical environment. Televisions dropped that to 85%, computers down to 70%, phones brought that down to 50%, and right now humanity is flippening to be spending more time spent on screens than not. Humanity will go from 50% attention on screens to over 80% by 2030 if the current trajectory continues. Sound crazy? Already, friends and neighbours have become followers. Working has gone from factories to laptops and boardrooms to Zooms. Children in America play Fortnite more than basketball and football combined. Everything is going digital. Your friends, your job, your identity, your assets. Now, I thought the metaverse graphics was like this, but only recently found out it's 90% lifelike using the newly released Unreal Engine version 5. This is like incredibly real. And you can imagine the debauchery in here. Gangs, crime. Everyone's going to want something extra. Everyone's going to want to upgrade and power up. It's really going to be a very toxic place. You'll probably even have prisons in there. Now, my conceptual fiction novel, Kaylin, went through these AI and metaverse scenarios in depth. I think I called it the Simsphere, and it clearly showed the inauthentic toxicity this delivers. They want to remove cash and implement CBDCs in the coming 2 years. We will get deeper into this soon. COVID is the vehicle for digital ID, the new finance system, and Web3. CBDCs need digital ID and digital compliance. All will be born from these current individualized green ticks on a phone. Their end goal by 2030 is less population, less white alpha males, less gender polarity, all gridded up in smart cities with a regular cocktail of mutant juice, with rationing of sustenance and energy, running on AI CBDC carbon credit micropayments, with the metaverse for entertainment, total demonic dystopic control. By 2040, they want man merged with technology, physically, known by the transhumanists as the singularity. They are using the following PR vehicles for Hydra's heads for progress and delivery. A daily mainstream media talismanic NLP emotive fear campaign, their UN's 2030 Sustainable Development Project, and the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. True mainstream journalism died years ago. The reality is they are trying to kill or modify us, while acting like they are trying to save us. It's actually worse than World War I and World War II, wherein you could see the enemy uniform and the weapons. Currently it's mutation, tyranny, slow torture, grinding down, and death in a covert way, where one actually gives one's consent to the evil that is being kindly offered. It's pure dark occultism. In this current world war, your enemy can even be in your own workplace, street, or family. Many past generations battled, revolted, and fought for freedom, but this generation is sleepwalking towards the death of freedom, and people don't care, or can't even see it. But many more are starting to see it, and the kettle is starting to boil. And this current agenda and current trajectory is not set in stone that it will come to pass. The 1% of us have choices. There are solutions, and we can also look at it as a fun test, a divine video game, a rebellion against the odds, the heart-based underdog against evil, fun and exciting, real soul-level stuff. Now, I've been waiting about 17 years for all this. I always knew it was coming. This spellcasting by the elite is based upon convincing the healthy they are sick, the fear of death, and freedom restricting oppression. Now, these spells are spiritually there to ignite and activate you into self-motivation, into purpose, into your full potential. The spells should not align you to the heavy energies of fear and oppression. Remember, fear is the currency of tyranny. If you are against tyranny, don't drink in the fear. And before we get into solutions through the elements, we will get there. I want to do a quick rundown of total illogical Looney Tunes craziness in the off chance there are any stragglers left that might take a red pill and give up the blue pills. The last scoop of those who still might come off the edge of the cliff. The elite are in fear too. They're in a big hurry for some reason. They are rushing, making big mistakes, and also not caring about details, probably due to their disdain for us. The illusion of freedom has become expensive for them to maintain. They are also mocking us with symbolism, maybe even deliberately leaving clues for truthers. Whatever the reasons for this clear nonsense, more are waking up. The biggest elephant in the room is the purebloods aren't dying. German supermarkets separating the mutants from the purebloods by a fence with holes in it. In Scotland, nightclubs, mutant juice could have the Rona in their narrative, allowed in for a dance. No mutant juice with negative PCR test, not allowed in. Tasmania and other places offering Apple goods free for teenagers getting the mutant juice. Here's your tracking device, kids. They even now admit blood clots from mutant juice. Gibraltar has 100% double mutant juice, 40% boosted. Just cancel Christmas. due to rise in Rona cases. It's a bit strange how Big Pharma never cared about GMO foods, metals, EMF exposure, fluoride, or unhealed trauma or shadow. What's the ethical, scientific and logical justification to force the whole world to receive a product into the bloodstream made by habitually criminal companies who aren't liable for injury or death, when the product doesn't even stop transmission for a virus that doesn't exist? Dear plexiglass, thanks for protecting me, while the cashier touches every single item I'm taking home. So the new scariant has got around the world, but if the unvaxxed aren't allowed to travel, then why is it spreading? What are you going on about? In Japan there is no mandate, but everyone is wearing masks voluntarily. The Asians are very easy to control, mostly young souls. Anyone know where I can get a Rona test that tells me if I got the Rona, the Delta, or the Omicron? Nope, doesn't exist. And get this, a pure blood can be an organ donor, but can't receive an organ transplant. There's a new term, COVID extremism. Get ready to hear more of that. No mutant juice, no food in Canada. There's a ban from grocery stores, mandate. World Economic Forum said weather can freeze your bank account. This is early NLP for climate footprint merging with CBDCs. So there's been a big rise in heart attacks due to mutant juice. They blame this on weed, post-pandemic stress, climate change, the cold, even newborn heart issues from mutant-juiced pregnant mothers blamed on climate change. Now, just how did we get from saving grandma to cardiac arrests in minors? And as if by magic, the new Omicron scariant symptoms have heart problems in the mix. They are using all these excuses to cover the mutant juice injuries from dose 1 and 2. And it was actually sold as a fight against the pandemic to protect the people. It's become a fight against the people to protect the narrative of a pandemic. This is nice. Children get smaller needles. How thoughtful. Heart defibrillators being installed in playgrounds in Israel. And in Leeds High Street too. Normal thing. There's an advert of Santa dying of Rona. Here's a new advert of Santa where he is gay and gets kissy-kissy with another dude, also stripped of his masculinity. As you probably know, sports people with mutant juice have been dropping dead, collapsing. Wow, those flies are dropping like sportsmen. World Cup 2022, World Cup 2026. I remember the days when sudden death in football meant something a little bit different. Trust the science is the most anti-science statement ever. Questioning science is literally how science works. A couple of rock stars who pretend they were anti-system, Kiss and Rage Against the Machine, both promoting mutant juice, fake talisman stooge sellouts. The elite are using their Ladium Red with so many headlines. People queuing up for the new Matrix movie with their COVID passes. To summarise this nonsense, if you have been persuaded, pressurised, bribed, incentivised, shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, ostracised, criminalised and sacked to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain what's being promoted isn't in your best interests. It's all too illogical and a great example of those with the most power having the least grace. Imagine not being able to connect the dots in 2022. It's like being awake to this is a bit like being sober at a drunken party. Much of this nonsense is by design, much of it AI created, all to confuse you and lower your frequency. And one shouldn't even need to research at this point. Common sense should be enough. The number of people blindly following is disturbing. The number of apathetic, uninterested people that couldn't care less is even more disturbing. Some wouldn't know tyranny if it covered their face, locked them at home, censored them, enforced papers, enforced apps on their phone, and force medicated them. Many are giving away their freedoms, health and morality in an attempt to overcome their fear of death. The day they decided to give all these away is the day they really died. Humanity has gone insane. If anyone does not think that, they are insane. The world is full of highly intelligent fools. Truth has become absolutely heresy, and that violates natural order, the natural world, and divinity. What the normie lemmings and New Agers don't realise is, and lest us remember both are still in an echo of an old paradigm, oppression and evil on this scale affects everyone, and grows when ignored. Tyranny feeds off collective human stupidity and ignorance, and tyranny starves from individual non-conformity, truth-based wisdom, and speaking out against it. But against stupidity, we are defenceless. Now, tyranny is never really imposed by just a few. It's imposed by the population acquiescing to the few. The closer the collapse of an empire, the crazier its laws. We are in a mental IQ test, a morality test, an auric frequency test, a soul test, a spiritual test, and the majority are failing all of them. I sometimes wonder recently if the divine creators didn't just CGI the soulless NPCs into this realm to enhance the theatre of the external. Okay, finally, and apologies for going on. Now let's get on to the solutions. Earth, water, air, fire. Earth, physical plane. Water, emotional plane. Air, mental plane. Fire, the plane of will and action. Spirit, the plane of ether, divinity, and the higher self. Earth solutions. Physical plane. Body, value, resources, grounded, roots, home, location, protection. In these times it's important to be healthy. Your health is your number one asset, period. Your body is your temple, a divine gift, a miracle really. In this, it's key to have a stubborn, stable and grounded, zero tolerance for the mutant juice, where you would rather be shot or imprisoned than injected with mutant juice is a solid stance. Warrior purebloods need only apply. I personally would rather lick a handrail in a Wuhan train station than get injected. We have to hold the line with our bodies, hold the bloodline. It's wise to be strong and flexible so that energy and chi can flow. To get to this is different for everyone, but healthy food is key. Alkaline over acid is key. Processed sugar is generally a no-no. It's more toxic than most know. But don't turn your food into a religion though, as many New Agers have done. The rigidity will mess up your energy. But alkaline and organic, don't eat late at night, and you can't go far wrong. Food gives you a daily choice, to be more grounded, or more energized, or more relaxed, or more sensitive. In some cases there are some vegans super unhealthy, and also some raw meat eaters super healthy, and vice versa. Not one shoe fits everyone, so know your body and what it needs. Be happy with how you look. There is a long-running psyop since the 80s to make people unhappy with the way they look. With 5G, Wi-Fi, 4G, chemtrails, metals, packet foods, and all these toxins these days, it's wise to give your immune system a bit of love. A cleanse here and there is pretty smart in these times. I'm not going to give you a fad or a one-fits-all solution, but fasting for 3 days, or 1 day here and there, dry fasts, turpentine, MMS, juicing, all this stuff will help. If you want something more brutal and quick, like if you have a tumour or disease starting, get on the Cambo or THC oil, and sometimes cleanse and focus on one organ, full power. If you know anyone with mutant juice who wants it removing and cleansing, get on the Cambo, fulvic acid, turpentine and zeolite. Another more in-depth protocol is based on niacin, butyrate, NAC, all cell recalibration and cleansing, cell cleansing. Full details in a link in the description. Shilajit will help you out too if you're hanging out a lot with mutant juice normies, cellular protection. We know now mainstream hospitals and doctors are a part of a murderous profiteering cult. Stay clear of all mainstream health operations unless you broke a bone or really need an operation. Exercise, I'm not going to preach or get all life coachy, but get your heart rate up and sweat flowing 2-3 times a week. If over 40 and male, get on some resistance training to keep your testosterone levels up. Ensure your balance of flexibility and strength is in harmony. Now, alcohol can relax muscles and reduce stress, but it is a poison and astrally attracts. In just medium doses, it brings in a lot of crappy low-level spirits and energy. It will close your third eye for sure. Cannabis is a medicine, can help with depression, stress, creativity boosts and pain. But doing often and regularly, your dreams will get eaten and you'll get holes in your aura. Again, low-level astral critters. In Normie Land, because they stopped caring about what's true, the doors to vice, gluttony, poisons and lust all opened. Just go to a normie city, all rich in vice. If your insight and intuition are alive and spot on, and your mind is sharp with clarity, and you remember dreams often, your body is in very good condition. If not, your body isn't running the way it was designed and in need of a detox. One tip, when you wake up, don't lay in bed on the phone. We've all done it, but it's not the way to start the day. The first 15-30 minutes of the day is so important. Try and create a routine that works for you. I go for a cold shower, then qigong, then meditation, and allow myself one day off a week. Do what suits you, but really use this 15 minutes or even 60 minutes to power up. One time a week it's wise to have a massage or shiatsu or acupuncture, some sort of bodywork service. I've even started standing on nails. Bring in some sort of self-cultivation. Be careful who you share jiggy energy with, as many people's sexual energies are conduits for some low-level astral critters and or childhood trauma. Purity over lust is key. You may think a hot girl is your dream desire, only to find out in bed you're getting smashed by a bunch of ghouls. Not fun. This is vice versa too. And this energy is a portal much more than most know. The body is the foundation for emotions, mind, action and spirit, water, air, fire and ether. To control our bodies is something the elite want so much, so power it up in these times, protect it. Just look in people's eyes who are deeply within the elite spellcasting and juiced up. They've gone. In all this, don't get too rigid, relax, enjoy life, but invest in your health. Any big positive daily change to your health, you'll get the strong feedback about 2 weeks later. There's a kind of incremental delay. When health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, art cannot manifest, strength cannot fight, wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. With the Apocalypse Office, which was at first a joke, but became real, I had over 200 calls from different people. Most were pondering where to be. Location could be much more important than money or possessions. Your environment plays a massive part in how you feel and how close the elite agenda is going to get to you. It's wise to be nimble and adaptable, or rooted somewhere with resources and prepared. No location is perfect, but idealistically you want low population, some locally sourced food, water sources nearby, and a few good like-minded people. Good to go. And the city is a really difficult path, but you're at the front line, which some people might want. It might be on their purpose too. At the edge of a town may work for you. It's not one rule fits everyone. Remember though, they can't control people who are self-sufficient, but remote with nobody, this is a difficult path. Only a few can do this. Being alone has a power only a very few can handle. You need just a few things really. water, air, food, warmth and shelter, so aim for a good quality of each. Some get into deeper prepper energy, and it can take over. Spare batteries, spare food, spare solar panels, spare cables. It can be never ending. From speaking to many I know, it seems Mexico, Brazil, Portugal, Thailand, Indonesia, Hawaii seem like the best places for many who follow this channel. As well as other qualities, it's easier to pay people off in these places, more so than it is in the likes of Switzerland or Sweden. It's almost like a divine joke that all the safe places with an abundance of food and clean water, your Costa Ricas, your Hawaiis, your Balis, Azores, all have big fat volcanoes and earthquakes. So nowhere is safe, and that's okay. It's a kind of divine joke. You're not supposed to be safe. You're supposed to be able to face death head on and say, yeah, come on, like a warrior. Now Europe for sure looks like craziness 2022 to 2024 for sure, but if you're remote you'll probably be okay. They will go for the cities first. What's not wise though is heading somewhere on the fear of not having money, or heading somewhere to sort out old logistics, or leaving somewhere decent as a relative is guilt tripping you. You are keeping your family lineage safe and protected if you are in a good place. Remember, if you're not near food and water, the elite have you leveraged with their supermarkets. Food rationing is likely in many Western cities in the coming years. So be smart. You want food, not to be the food. And some Matrix people are seriously planning where they are next going on holiday. Little do they know, many empty resorts and hotels are slowly transmuting into quarantine camps. Others, conversely, are wondering how to escape societal exclusion and quarantine camps. Duality in effect. Travelling is getting harder and harder. For most people in many countries, the window is already shut. They want everyone in their home country to stamp them with the new AI ID wallets. Is hiding away eating fruit the answer? Maybe not in the big picture, unless you have some serious online output helping lots of people, but a remote community or group of neighbours and families bringing up children with critical thinking and resources, this is very much a good location. Many pseudo-Goa, Burning Man, Peru, India-styled New Agers and permaculture crews often talk about starting a community, mostly 25 to 35-year-old single polyamorous musicians, where they live on top of each other. And what happens in this setup is the flirting, jealousy, alpha battles, ego and desires disrupt the community. For a cohesive and functioning community thus far, it has to be solid couples, husbands and wives and families, or it's just too ungrounded and just becomes a mini festival energy. My Kalim book explored different community models, in which there were 6 communities on the outside, each no more than 100 people, some into building, some planting, some still using money, some within art and creativity, one with a market, one with a sort of carnival, each very different but were linked and helped each other. The 3 communities nearer the middle were softer energy, more yin, no more than 20 people in each, healing, massage, music, conscious theatre, archetypal, quieter, and the community in the middle was 3 mystics, 3 spiritual people, shaman, priests, the word's not important, and anyone could come and seek wisdom, do silence, study deeper doctrine, deeper spiritual work, shadow work. And this is a pretty good model for around 600 people. I know of one island north of Scotland, a few awake people bought all of the land there. It's theirs now, and they can govern it quietly. Small islands are a great way to explore new seeds for new societal structures, away from the eyes of the Matrix. And no matter where you are, it's really healthy to have one person local to you who is like-minded. No one rule fits all with location, but you really need to think about where you are. You may even be forced to move due to elite getting too close, so do have a plan B. Work on your plan B, even if you don't need it. It's never a bad decision to stay where you're loved, valued and respected, or where your heart smiles. But you might need to move to keep that love and respect safe for the future of your kin. and to give babies to it, away from the source of whence it came from. You may decide and feel to move location, but sometimes there are delays, blocks, or a strange windy path there. Relax into this, it's always for a reason. Sometimes an internal amplification of an energy is needed. It's kind of initiatic as you go through a door into a new chapter of your life. Patience in these times may seem like the last thing to do. Your nervous system may demand haste, but sometimes this is the perfect time to practice patience. There are many placing their bodies into these large weekend protests. These will get more violent soon. Be careful in the cities. It could get gnarly when it comes to food and the economy in these years. The cities are a very good place to revolt for sure, and we will come to that a bit later. In my first book in 2007, I did a chapter about fiat currency and how humans live in the biggest Ponzi scheme ever known. The economy has been broken a long time. The central banks are printing money to keep it just about alive. The most powerful of all fiat currencies, the dollar, is really a big shitcoin if you look at it from a tokenomics angle. In the coming 2 years, inflation and hyperinflation is likely in many nations. The elite want as many of you as possible crushed, then forced into UBI in a techno-Marxist financial equality for control, and you're going to need to be ready to pivot somehow. Now, the Turkish lira just popped into hyperinflation. All of their financial markets have been shut with an emergency ruling. They will also wipe out this Ponzi trillions of dollars debt from governments to central banks. It will all be cleared and forgotten. If you sit in fiat in a bank, one day you will wake up and it will be CBDCs after a short bridge period. And it's not a matter of if, but when. Over 56 central banks are developing CBDCs, pretty much all of them, and many nearly ready to go technically. Cash creates privacy and gets rid of tracking, middlemen, tax and the elite. Cash also can't be linked to CBDC wallets. CO2 monitoring credit cards are already here. If you're reliant on the government for benefits and you don't want mutant juice, you're really going to need a plan B. It's as simple as that, as they will probably turn off or restrict your CBDCs. This is coming 2023-24 or so. And look here, healthy eating incentive smart contract. They already have it all designed. So what can you do? As I've been saying for years, and helped many make some good gains in the process, move your spendable resources and liquidity into crypto at a good entry point. A massive transfer of wealth is coming soon. The whys and whats and hows I did in detail in the Elite Full Throttle series. And crypto started as a niche part of fintech. Now fintech is a niche part of crypto. It's going to be massive. The whole market was at 3 trillion recently. Decentralized finance has $300 billion locked up in it. The NFT market is around 10 billion market cap, with a trading volume of near 70 million a day. Many high street banks will be made bankrupt by the central banks or the elite cyber attack, or a bit of both. A chosen few will remain to sell crypto to the normies. If you don't have spendable resources and you're a bit skint, create yourself a service or product you're passionate about that helps people and monetize it. Now, it may sound a bit fluffy, but income is often an energy linked to passion and purpose-fueled creativity. The money you earn is measured by the value you create for people. It flows to you in direct proportion to the impact you have on others. A recent Time magazine cover, always with symbolism, but this time with crypto asset logos all over the show and sort of China above America. A quick digression if I may, just have a quick look at June 2021's Time magazine cover. We see a disabled third eye and connectors from the brain stroke consciousness. El Salvador was the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender. I said years ago countries that get hammered by the Fed economically will enter crypto. He filled his bags. Also, the world's biggest investment house, BlackRock, is in too. Nobody knows the crypto path to $10 or $20 trillion market cap. No one knows what this looks like, but it will get there. Now for sure, Link and Quant will fly. I will give you 3 crypto scenarios: bullish, neutral and bearish. Bullish, central banks can't stop inflation without a big crash. They decide not to go for the big crash, so they keep QE going. Rogue nations, if there are any left, not in the elite, they pile in, institutions pile in, sending crypto on a fairly smooth path to 5 or 7 trillion around June to August 2022 sometime. Neutral scenario, a lot of volatility, the finance economy is not good, but there's not a big world crash, and around the same price end of 2022, 5 to 7 trillion in 2023 sometime. Bearish scenario, central banks stop QE, the China real estate mess sweeps the West, false flag cyber attack comes, and then we enter a massive bear market for 1 or 2 years while the world economy crashes, in which lots of deads and the elite get their Web3 and CBDCs ready and the crypto entry and exits controlled and tracked before the big crypto blow off top to 10 trillion or so in 2023-24, where the elite and their central banks and their institutional mates are the only ones left with cash to buy the tokens. In the bullish and neutral scenarios, I think it's wise to sell somewhere between 5 and 7 trillion MC. I feel another bear will come before the super cycle to 10 or 20 trillion in these 2 scenarios. You want to be ready for any of these possible crazy scenarios. The more knowledge and understanding you have, the better. Spending 1 hour a day studying the crypto market, what's happening, is probably a wise use of your time over the next year or 2. Remember, strong men make green candles make weak men make red candles make strong men. As I said a few times, the elite have many tricks to get you to give up your tokens. Be wary, especially as there have been a big few multinational cyber attack drills. With crypto, you're going to want a personal exit strategy unique to you and your life. Maybe to USDC, but what if USD is dying too? Then you want to get the crypto into hard assets like land and water, or metals, or a farm, or a boat. I said for years now the elite would start blocking the exits. Korea has gone first, soon to block crypto moving from centralized exchanges to any non-KYC blockchain wallet. This law will spread around the world in 2022 as they want crypto to be for taxes, controlling people and themselves. Get yourself a blockchain non-KYC wallet as soon as possible. So it's likely in the future we will need proxy people to withdraw for us. A proxy person that does indirect payments and cash outs for you with anonymous banking and CBDC wallets. A man with no ID or fake ID or someone faceless will one day be a payment in and out guy for many. This is the way things will go. Another way out of crypto will possibly be through NFTs. Crypto to an NFT, like an expensive sword in a game, then to a proxy. Also, crypto to crypto will work too. You want to buy some land? Offer crypto. The seller will say no. Tell him 10% extra and to find his nephew to deal with the technicals. If he wants the value, he will do it. This will increase massively. Now there will be bridges from crypto to CBDCs, but this isn't a bridge that any of you will really want to cross. Another asset looking good is unvaxxed sperm. If you are playing the housing market or own a house you don't live in, I personally would just sell it quick and put it into something more liquid. Remember, one goal of the elite is to erase property ownership, so ownership in Western cities will be erased first, if the agenda gets that far. In all this, it's your fear versus your hope versus your greed, and sometimes big losses can actually set you free. Remember, the real currency of this realm is where one places attention. The Communist World Economic Forum wants us by 2030 to own nothing and be happy. Well, many are already like this. All good. It's a cold reality that financially rich people acquire assets, poor and middle class acquire liabilities they think are assets. Two things will define you: patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. There are two reasons not to compete with others. No one else can take what's meant for me. I don't want what's meant for someone else. The only competing to enter is you yesterday versus you today. You aren't wealthy until you have something money can't buy. To summarize: earth, health, value, assets, resources, location. Fuel them all. It will give you a stable grounding and indirectly make you a haven of protection. Water, feelings, relationships, emotions, creativity, intuition, empathy, subconscious fluidity. COVID revealed a lot of people's true colours. When life got real, it showed us who wasn't. Much of humanity is falling. Many deads to mutant juice, many to a smashed up immune system, to fear, to stress. We will each need to dig into the self and work on the emotions and feelings. They want us that are awake to feel alone though, but there are millions of us. It's key in this time to become more selective about who gets access to your energy. Families are love, bonds, stories, karma. And it's kind of a paradox how so many don't care at all about what's going on in the world, the suffering and oppression, but when it comes to one family member, the person is super emotional and might risk everything to see that one family member again. I kind of get it, but the gap between no care for billions but massive care for one is a little weird. It's kind of an illness, twisted empathy really, polarized extremes of no empathy and lots of empathy. Just see how this sits within the self. In many cases, your family put the elite mainstream media above you. They accuse your call to freedom and information sharing as dissidents and crazy. If this is the case, then their love for you is based on egoistic receiving and not guidance, growth, trust and respect. Let's remember, our parents' generation fell for the insanity box lies, and it's probably the most destructive generation ever in the history of this realm. You can't hold a grudge though. They just forgot critical thinking, and after World War II, humanity just wanted to trust again, and cozy up on a new sofa and trust authority. If it's a mutant juice to see your family again, and you've decided that's not happening, know you are keeping all the good from your family within you and within your offspring. Think of your parents' parents, think of your ancestors, think of all those who died for freedom. They are your family too. Try and look further than your children's children. Where might they grow up? You kind of have two options with matrix relatives. One, try and wake them up and risk them worrying about you, cutting you off, or them getting very out of balance. Or two, don't try and wake them up, let them drink the mutant juice and be on friendly and supportive terms with them. If one of your family has gone super deep matrix, really just let them go, mourn them, let them go. They're just not going to make the cut. If bereavement of a loved one in the coming years comes to you, know that emotional shock comes in waves through the body. The best advice here is softness, softness to self, slow down, self-love. You don't have to go to some matrix Zoom funeral, no matter what the pressure. You can do your own ritual ceremony of connection, celebration and love. The divine creators were smart. The ultimate community is family. The elites know this and have been smashing up the family unit and family values in mainly white countries for 2 decades now. Parenting got hijacked. Instead of buying your children all the things you never had, as is the norm, maybe teach them all the things you were never taught. It's really about raising souls with critical thinking, so what is happening now doesn't happen again. Ultimately, after you leave this realm, leaving an amazing human being is probably more powerful than leaving any asset, money, house, book or video. But it's hard work in these times, not an easy path. Pure dedication would be needed. On to friends and associates. I think everyone has learnt who their real friends are in the past 2 years. Humans are definitely stronger in numbers, but if you are awake and aware, it can be wise to vibe alone until you're valued and understood, or keep associates at arm's length. A person who is okay with being alone is a powerful person. Not everyone deserves your energy. And being reserved is different to being shy. One other real person is enough. It's okay to outgrow people and places. Choose people who fit not just your present but your future. Choose people who naturally help you be the best version of yourself. Someone you met 3 weeks ago can have better intentions than someone you met 3 years ago. Don't let time fool you. Build a circle of friends who like to talk about ideas, investments, growth, instead of gossiping. Some friends keep on changing through life. Accept it. Friends are relative to where you are in life. The right people feel different in your nervous system. Trust is earned, respect is given, loyalty is demonstrated. Betrayal of any one of these, lose all three. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. You don't lose friends, you lose undercover haters. Real friends can never be lost. You can mess your whole life up by having friends with the wrong goals and aspirations. You rise to the level of your core community and no further. The only way beyond this is to change your community or tribe. Cut off everyone that makes you feel like you can't express yourself freely. Let the past make you better, not bitter. In all this, brotherhood and kin in a bonded, integral mindset on a project, on a quest of justice, in supporting, in sharing, in creating solutions together, this is a very high vibration, especially in these times. If you have this, nurture it. Love relationships can be challenging in this time. Long-term ones, new ones, breakups, all amplified and more karmic. It's not easy due to the war on organic gender roles, but a healthy loving couple is what creates healthy loving families, so it's really super important. If you can balance union, roles, energies, and work as a team partnership too, great. This is the aim. With a committed relationship in this time, it's healthy with someone who knows a little of what's going on, or a lot of what's going on. Don't feel a need to force feed her tons of information though, it's a bit yangy, but if she knows a little and trusts you, you're good to go. A woman who constantly seeks validation, adoration, selfies, lavish dates and receiving, it's going to slow you down in these times. Apocalypse skills are the new attractive. So is having a spine. If you're not happy single, try dating apps. You'll still be single, but you'll appreciate it a lot more. Let's enter some poetic words that may be of use in these coming years. Never wanted perfect, just real. A big attraction in these times is someone whose actions align with their words. Love is not a maybe thing. You know when someone loves you. Remember to love people and use things, rather than to love things and use people. Love leaves legacy, not your wealth or accomplishments. Love is the most enduring thing you can leave on earth. Maturity is attractive. Confidence is attractive. Having your life together is attractive. Knowing what you want is attractive. Be a priority, not an option. Don't be someone sometimes. You deserve what you give. Choose the one whose loyalty meets yours. Never force a connection. How you are treated is more important than how much you like someone. Value yourself without feeling guilty about it. The wrong one will find you in peace and leave you in pieces, but the right one will find you in pieces and lead you to peace. Feeling understood by someone is a different type of intimacy. Don't suppress your pain. It's critical information you need to process. Being hurt is one of the ways to find your strength. It's cool to be single. It's cool to fall in love. Forgiveness doesn't require reconnection. Until you are comfortable being alone, you'll never know if you're choosing someone out of love or loneliness. Choose a good heart, not a good face. Anyone can love you when the sun is shining. It's in the storms where you learn who truly cares for you. Everyone wants someone real, until someone's real standards challenge them to be real consistent and real considerate. People will hurt you, but don't use that as an excuse for your poor choices. Use it as motivation to make the right ones. You should have a supportive partner or no partner. There is no third option. Some things break your heart but fix your vision. Temporary people give permanent lessons. As you heal and mature, toxicity stops looking like excitement and peace stops feeling like boredom. Some people are in your life to test you until you stand up and say, "Enough is enough. I am worth more than what you offer me." It's okay to make a decision that hurts your heart but heals your soul. Love yourself instead of loving the idea of other people loving you. If anyone is going to magically appear and suddenly make your life better, know that person is always going to be you. You deserve a love that is a safe place for your soul, so stay close to those who give you peace. If your woman isn't revolutionary, she may persuade you to be a slave. Some great information here on codependence and interdependence, plus attachment styles, wounded masculine and feminine, and healthy masculine and feminine. Pause and download at your leisure. Might be useful to wave about when she's driving you crazy before moon time, or when he gets grumpy and out of balance as his crypto just dumped. With love relationships, simply ask yourself if you are growing and expanding or shrinking and contracting. Two people should make life easier, as you have more than double the manifestation and logistical energy. Emotions will get amplified in the coming years for many reasons. Don't become it, witness it, allow it, release it. In these times, we're not here to be comfortable and happy. That's kind of old Matrix paradigm, and for more future harmonic times. Are you emotionally prepared if millions die in the coming years? Are you emotionally prepared to witness people you love suffer? Are you emotionally prepared to not see people you love again? Because if your emotions are out of control, it might hit you hard and take you off the chessboard, off your evolution, off your decision making. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean avoiding your emotions. Emotions are signals, not commands. If the ocean can calm itself, so can you. For every contracting feeling or emotion, there is a potential transmutation. It's wise in this time to take your intuition to the gym. Intuition is your friend. It's like a vessel waiting for your higher self to drop a divine compass down. Every decision means something now. Feel intuitively into these decisions. Intuition is an amazing pilot to have in these times. If you have the time and motivation, creativity with a message is a big work of service, even if it just gets to one other person. With creative flow, one can channel empathy, love, anger, fear, optimism, compassion, intellect, pain, everything, and fire it out into the physical. The creative flow is a divine energy. Creativity is a spiritual practice as you become an instrument. Creativity congeals many emotions and energies and balances them and directs them. Know your dreams and wishes through imagination. How do they feel? Remembering nighttime dreams is probably the best way to know what is going on in your subconscious. How to do this is in my Trinity book. The coming swirling waters of emotions and feelings will make or break you in the coming years. It's that important. To summarize, water, be the king of your emotions and feelings, and be fluid, intuitive, and creative. air solutions, mental plane, intellect, communication, thinking, logic, reasoning, diligence, projects, ideas. The mind is very complex. The mind arises sensations that are naturally arising feedback to one's world experience. Optimism, pessimism, anger, fear, contentment, accepting, rejecting, etc. The mind can also feed, grow, cultivate, negate and transmute each of these, and so much more. The world at the moment is shaming and punishing healthy people for not following unhealthy habits out of the fear of death. It's literally a deadly mind spell. Fear, though, is the mind killer. Fear is always a projection into the future. It's never the now. Holding on to fear can make the wolf grow bigger than he is. Fear isn't there to negate or deny, though. It naturally arises. It is there to go through, deep into it and through it. Shaman and mystics dive into fear and fill every pore until they master and transmute it. Fear is actually healthy, natural and divine. It tells you where the edge is. It tells you of an unsafe bridge, or pending abuse and violence. Out of fear comes the right motivation and decision making. A man that flies from his fear may find that he has only taken a shortcut to meet it. We can never become what our soul needs us to be until we invite the very thing we fear and have it eat us alive. With the elite's agenda, a lot of people are practicing avoidance and calling it a positive mindset. There are many New Agers and people more yin that refuse to talk or focus on anything that could be deemed negative or that could be fear-inducing, wearing a mask of forced positivity from bypassing reality, fearful of fear itself, fearful of evil, fearful of oppression. If negativity didn't exist, you would have never made choices or made big decisions. You've all finished a relationship with a friend or lover and changed location and changed jobs. Why? Because you analyze the negativity. Once we look at the negative, we will naturally transmute negative energy into positive or neutral energy. Now look here, neither of these mindsets are correct, healthy or based in wisdom. The second will feel better, but is as blind as the first. In a few years it may be more valid. Now, no, it's bypassing, and the crash from this mindset will be a large one when reality kicks in. Over-pessimism and over-optimism, neither are grounded in reality, and both are dangerous. One makes you more popular though, and many freak out when you say evil exists in the world. And when evil grows, it just gets more deranged. It burns itself up. It falls further from the one. But no, evil does exist. But don't cling to it. Don't fear it. Use it for motivation to be your best self for good in this time. Mindful warriors can look directly in the face of an evil agenda and still live with an inner smile. Most will need to look away to be happy. It is what it is, and paradoxically, this is one reason why this test and squeeze is needed for humanity. Ignorance and bypassing is a big disease. Gaining situational awareness is like a key. Your future, your children, and the people you love need your situational awareness. And of course, you can still have a happy and positive mindset holding a strong situational awareness. They aren't mutually exclusive. Don't try and see the world through news headlines, but see it through truth, real knowledge and wisdom. We need a long-term view in these times, to look ahead. This is why silly doctrines like Eckhart Tolle have been pumped. Yes, be present when you walk into a room or in a meeting or with a friend, but we also need to look at what's happened in recent years, look backwards, and look at the trajectory to the future. I've heard New Agers say travel restrictions don't concern them as they don't focus on it and create their own reality. The paradox is there are some high vibrational spiritually devoted people with no situational awareness of the time we are in. Anyone can read a few Buddhist books and trick themselves into happiness, or go to a singing ceremony and feel good. Neither of these change or fix the subjective exponential increase of pain and oppression in the world. Never ignore truth for temporary happiness. It's a needed morality now to care about humanity's freedom. You can change your life somewhat by altering the images in your mind, but remember the mental plane is below the causal plane. You change your reality somewhat, but try changing the airport security COVID guards into pink butterflies by imagining this in mind. It's not going to happen. It is very true though that we can suffer more in mind than in reality, so guard your thoughts. It's a bit like walking on a tightrope. So we do need to cultivate the mind in this time, a positive truth-based mindset, but with situational awareness and a sharpening up of morality, integrity, authenticity and principles. Did you really have a bad day, or did you have 20 minutes where you let your thoughts run undisciplined, which left to a bad vibe? Your day is only as good as your mindset. If your mind gets stuck, change a habit, change a routine, throw some things out, declutter and tidy your space will also declutter and tidy your mind. And one mindset hack is practicing gratitude, which is the healer of a negative or troubled mind. In these times, the mindset of the alpha male is good, the beta male not so good, but I feel the mindset of the sigma male is the one most powerful in these times. The sigma sits outside hierarchy and social circles, quiet and thoughtful. Another mindset philosophy growing again is Stoicism, and this is much needed in these times. Having mindfulness of the fear and desire arising in the self is wise. Other smarter men have written about such things. Most humans alive now have hidden externals controlling their mind and thoughts. Our minds are one of the prizes for the elite, so get yourself in the driving seat. Most humans are so in their head and digitization they can't enjoy where they are, seeking observers, gratification, like clowns at a circus. Many humans are working as gatekeepers. They know the rules are stupid, but they are just doing their job. These humans are diseased with one of the worst illnesses man can ever have. So be mindful of what your mind ingests, what flavours of information, people, conversations and entertainment, for they all shape the mind more than most know. Your life is as it is now, because it is as it is. It's because it is the perfect frequency match to what you are mentally and emotionally emanating. You are attracting much in your life, not everything, but a lot. Collectively, we have attracted a world elite, dark spirits, and a whole bunch of spell casting, but we'll get onto that later. An easy way to transmute your mind is simply to change the words. We are in a plane of karmic liberation in the time of Kali Yuga, and in this current battle, one of your sharpest swords is a healthy mind, because many minds are going to pop to mush with what is coming. Right now, true intelligence includes being conscious of the world around you at this time and having ideas how to navigate it. It's become apparent that all degrees, certificates and diplomas held by these mutant juice drinkers are now indirectly void and in the bin. Humanity's minds have been saturated in deception, lies and entertainment, so constant that this has created false belief systems, ill minds and blindness to truth. Now stay clear of these 10-second videos, reels, stories, this dopamine firing addictions. This rise of these short videos are splintering the brain's attention span. Hence reading decent literature is now an act of rebellion these days. Remember, those that don't read good books have no advantage over those that can't read them. Now let's explain the difference between beliefs, truth, real knowledge and wisdom, as I feel this needs some clarity. Number 1. Beliefs. Beliefs are dangerous, easily manipulated, and are the enemy of knowledge. We need to put them in the bin for a few years, or use them for theoretical play. People are embraced by their beliefs. When false beliefs become the norm en masse, in a societal sense, society is near the edge of a fall. Millions have died in wars due to false beliefs, and millions are about to die again due to false beliefs. 2. Truth. Truth is objective, stone-cold logical facts that can be backed up with evidence. Truth is the beginning of wisdom. What changes human minds is information and opinions from friendships. This is how weak the human mind is. For truth, you really need to hunt for it these days. The discernment between fact or fake is a skilled one that needs to be practiced and learnt. 3. Real knowledge. Now this is often mistaken just for facts. Real knowledge is gained through direct experience, discernment, spontaneous inner soul level initiations, study of learned subjects and decent doctrine, synchronicities and truth. Everything else is abstract, unreal and illusory. Now real knowledge is like a garden. If it's not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's own ignorance. With cultivating real knowledge, exoteric and the esoteric is a must. 4. Wisdom, the Holy Grail. Wisdom is the experience and living application of truth and real knowledge. All have discernment as the founding building blocks. Discernment is one of your greatest friends in these times. Truth, real knowledge and wisdom are not for comfort. They're for liberation and are transcendent in nature. Thoth wrote, "Wisdom is our lamp of light and our compass. To possess wisdom is to be the master of divine powers." If you hold wisdom, stay silent often. Don't argue. The right people and experiences will magnetize to you. Don't push or pull, or you will leak energy. With wisdom, mental non-compliance will naturally arise within you, but a high degree of wisdom often makes a man unsocial. If you don't care about wisdom, you don't care about life. If the main pillar of a totalitarian system is living a lie, then it is not surprising that the fundamental threat to it is living in truth, real knowledge, and wisdom. Intelligence without wisdom brings destruction. And I set my mind to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I realize that this also is striving after wind, because in much wisdom there is much grief, and increasing knowledge results in increasing pain. The Bible. If you already have the situational and self-awareness with some sprinkles of wisdom, there is no need to spend hours a day watching more truther oppression journalism. I've seen many digesting too much information and going downhill. As Krishnamurti once said, without love, the acquisition of knowledge only increases confusions and leads to self-destruction. Your focused attention isn't free. It's the most valuable thing you spend. Here is a loose selection of ideas for your focus and attention in these times, in no specific order. Number 1. Know your purpose and mission and execute it. Just knowing your purpose isn't enough. Discipline will lead to habits, which lead to consistency, which will lead to growth. It's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy. It's now a moral obligation to pursue what is meaningful. Don't have an occupation, have a vocation. It's often said addiction is often driven by purposelessness. Number 2. Help others get into their full potential and purpose. 3. Create a plan B for you and your loved ones. 4. Creativity in a project, idea, investment, art or build. Something helpful and progressive. Remember, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. 5. Study and learn something of use, such as natural law, a skill, a service, or a modality for self-evolution or healing. 6. Work out how to slow down, destroy, or navigate the agenda on a local level. 7. Create new seeds for humanity and children in new societal and educational structures. Teaching children what is a belief, how to digest information, and what is knowledge is one of the best medicines for this whole reality. 8. Find like-minded people and bring them together. 9. Wake others up. There's a caveat here. If you are one to wake others up often with your words, but get drained in this, instead do one of the above. If you're not speaking out or mentally planning solutions in this time in history, it's a possibility you are complicit with turning people into slaves. Each of those 9 will help you make peace with uncertainty. Now, uncertainty is the only uncertainty there is, and true security is the result of anchoring oneself in the certainty of uncertainty. So fall in love with uncertainty, and she will never cause you harm. Resist her, and you will be tossed and turned in her waters until you can no longer breathe. Nearly everyone's going to have to make key decisions in these times. Razor-sharp decision making. So cultivate your mind. If you can't decide something, then the answer is a no. Remember, you are always one decision away from a totally different life. Strategy without patience can be caustic, but patience without strategy anemic. Have both with your decision making. Your mind is highly linked to what you will become. For example, where you are in a year is a reflection of the choices you make right now. In recent times, many are so used to others' words being meaningless, fake and phony that any clear direct communication is starting to appear aggressive. Cultivate your imagination, create. The mystic will tell you imagination is more important than any information-based knowledge. Imagination is like a large artery inside you with artistic and manifestation abilities. It's wise to try and avert overthinking, fearing change, living in the past, putting yourself down, and trying to please everyone. Also from saying yes too quickly and not saying no enough. With all the yeses, we clutter up our lives with all this noise. There is a good % chance of mass deads through spellcasting destruction arising in the coming years. We all need to cultivate a strong mind, inner metal, a mental backbone. People you know are going to break. In all this, in all we just said in the air section, with all this it gets quite complex, but allow your mind to be free. Let the breeze come through. Empty it. Regular meditation is really a must in these times for those taking this all seriously. Conversely, it's the meditators that take the mind the least seriously. To summarize, wisdom and imagination are key. In helping your own mindset, you indirectly help everyone else you meet. There's no requirements to be relevant or popular now. The individual is sovereign over the group. Your mind is your whole reality, but has many external souls, minds and phenomena impressing upon it. And until 2025 to 2027, the elite have a very big steering wheel upon your reality. There will be times in these years where you may feel out of control, but no matter what, you can always control your effort, your decisions, your discipline, how you spend time, where you place attention, how you respond to situations, how you communicate, and what you learn. Your mindset will be so important, so do prioritize your mental health. Fire Solutions, the plane of will to action. Energy, action, purpose, mission, motivation, willpower, courage, initiative, inspiration, passion, leadership, risk, confidence, adventure, outward energy, enthusiasm. So who is here still watching? The purebloods, most of which are unmasked, unvaxxed, unafraid. Many ready for action. Enough is enough now, and the fire is alive in many of you, and the fire burns brighter each day. If the situation was hopeless, their propaganda would be unnecessary. The matrix is collapsing, mostly by design, and they have an absurd, rushed agenda to place a new one on top. They haven't defeated us, but instead stirred the warrior inside of those who seek wisdom. We know this is a war for our soul and consciousness. We know it's winner takes all, and we're not leaving until the whole system collapses, no matter what they relentlessly throw at us. But what's happened the past 2 years is millions of us have tested positive for sovereignty, critical thinking, bodily autonomy, speaking truth, using discernment, standing up against tyranny, protecting children, and social distancing from the system. It's us. There is nobody else. Not the priest, not the police, not the soldier, nobody else. It's us lot. We lived, we researched, we learned, and we internally upgraded, and they couldn't and can't stop this. no matter what oppression comes in, no matter what suffering they unleash. We have learned and integrated earth, water and air, and now ignited is fiery, courageous action. Fear is an internal sensation, courage is a decision. Courage is a fear that has said its prayers and decided to go forward anyway. Courage has a measure of danger and has a will to endure it. Courage is mastery over fear, not absent of it. He who loses wealth loses much, he who loses a friend or lover more, but he that loses courage loses all. We have already aligned years ago to the collapse of an old, false, synthetic, greedy society. We knew it was finite. We are on the front line for these big waves of change coming. In this time, we are not only responsible for what we do, we are also responsible for that which we won't do. There is a wisdom-based and moral duty to be a force for good in these times, a will to good, and we are all being judged on our actions and the wisdom of our actions. To embody the archetype of good, the pure soul, of righteousness, the hero. Us left in this battle for the human soul are here to show we are against evil. We will not yield. To strive, to seek, to find, to embody righteousness and not to yield. So what actions are there one can actually do? First, get energized with love for humanity. The wisdom inside you should be doing that naturally. You cannot comply your way back to freedom. The only path forward now is resistance. Don't comply to any nonsense or oppression. Be unprogrammable, ungovernable, and choose adversity over comfort every time when oppression is near. Would you look at the time? Every act of your compliance is constructing your children's prison. Defiance will activate your willpower. It will be electrified. Do not yield. Ignite the warrior spirit, no matter what comes. Everything that made you an outsider in the old world has prepared you for a leader in the new. One key before taking action is to know thyself. Know unto thyself. How? Be alone in silence, for days if you must. No stimulus, no input, no internet, no human contact. And in the innocent softness, wait. Your soul, higher self, inner guidance will come and converse with you. It will upgrade you. You don't need Vipassana, a priest, or a group of people. You can do it alone. Upgrade thyself. This has a 100% success rate, especially if you have no physical, emotional, or mental trauma flying around inside. Delve into the stillness and quietness of the deep self, a true master key. To know thyself means to be utterly aware of all your weaknesses and blind spots and conditionings, and to softly, with steely grace, work on transmuting them subtly. To know thyself, nobody can trip you up, not even yourself. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. But it's wiser to know thyself before this restriction appears to create the motivation. If you know the enemy and to know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. To know thyself is to be a truly awakened man. Will to good actions are different for different people. One person's could be civil disobedience, another to meditate in a cave, another to be remote and right. But nobody's role in these times is actions only for service to self. It's really time to get up and act, or otherwise your comfort zone might literally kill you. So what external actions are there to do? One can look at what trajectory humanity needs to go in, so putting action and energy into any one of decentralized value, fintech or DApp projects, sharing of wisdom via different modalities, teaching children, natural healing and mental health, organic food and water, healing the forests and seas of destruction through abuse, plastic and pollution, new styles, ideas and prototypes for societal and communal cohesion and harmony, new ways of trading and commerce, finding ways of travel, hacking the system, improving digital privacy, looking at new ways of what is value and what is leadership and what is a team, creating libraries and seed banks, fitness and martial arts modalities, survival skills, sailing skills, free energy prototypes, internal spiritual work, and many more. And for a small select few of you, actions of disobedience, retaliation, and revolt will arise as your purpose. And a select few of that group, some actually courageously, will go ahead and act rebelliously. Her first illegal disclaimer: all in this section coming is fictitious. I don't advise anyone to break the law. This is hypothetical, conceptual sci-fi play with no real-world intent. Antisocial behaviour is a trait of intelligence in a world full of conformists. I want to make it clear though, it is always better not to lock horns with the system. The collective darkness needs to rise more so people on an individual level see it. Only then a shift can come. It's better to scrub all the government matrix energy off you. But if you're in the city with little choices, it might just be your purpose to revolt. If you're in the path of an evil wave, you might as well fight it head on, ride or die, like a hero in the halls of karma. And wakey wakey headquarters, when I'll speak to those people, I will never feel sorry for helping dragon slayers in a time when there are dragons. So the rest of this section, I'm only speaking to those who feel revolt and locking horns with the material phenomena of the elite is their calling. The spiritual law is you're allowed your own perception and allowed to go out and live. The elite's darkness has so much arrogance, and people will revolt against this. Oftentimes though, when people are fed and entertained, nobody rises up. Protests have been increasing in numbers, mostly in the white countries. Soon police and protesters will engage in murder both ways. This is inevitable. Aggression will rise from the mutant juice to the purebloods, wife against husband, friend against friend, pretty much civil war. Defend yourself by any means. You should understand and know that the elite really fear us. Waking others up, resisting, not complying, banding together. They know they are the minority, and they know theirs is an illusory authority. They are scared little coward bullies. You have the divine right to respond with all your fiery might as the elite are performing aggression via murderous oppression. You remove termites from your house. You remove mosquitoes from your body. You remove bullies from your children. Many watch Game of Thrones, Vikings, and all these other TV shows with the energy of righteousness and justice, but in real life conversely acquiesce to the villains. Against popular opinion, of course there's a time for violence, if in righteousness and justice against oppression. If you want to ignore or sing songs of love to heal this, be my guest, you'll be there a long time. Some are afraid of the darkness, but others like to play with it. They like to light the match. If you fight, you might lose, but if you don't fight, you may have already lost. And don't fill yourself with hatred though, or wild violence, but calmly removing or neutralizing gatekeepers or protectors of mass murderers is self-defense. But it's only a small fruit of a big tree with a big trunk. On the streets, paint or oil balloons, all good, fair game. Another way is messing up all the QR codes you see with marker pens. Supergluing or bringing new padlocks to barricade entrances to mutant juice application centres is another good civil disobedience. The angry mob should have been there years ago. It's certainly nigh time for them now, and if you're in the city, you have a kind of duty to fill your boots. You go with wakey wakey blessings in this fictitious sci-fi scenario. As so many tough men are scared to invoke the natural energy of Mars, so many spiritual men are scared to invoke the natural energy of Mars. You won't vote your way out of evil. You can't be kind to evil. You can't sing to evil. You can't pour a cacao drink to evil. You can't ignore evil. It will hunt you down and kill you. The pure internal archetype of Mars is within all men. courage, destroying evil, ready for action, the warrior, vanquishing ignorance, crushing evil and deceit. You're watching all this good v evil on your comfy sofas eating crisps, cheering the taking out of Mordor, the Death Star, King's Landing, the Cylons. But when good v evil comes to your doorstep, to your reality, to your family, you do nothing? So where is your fire? Where is your Mars? It's been damaged by the war on masculinity, by the fear of punishment and the promotion of comfy, cosy, huggy, fluffy New Age spirituality. It's well within the realms of divine righteousness to invoke Mars in any way you know how, and raise any elements of this twisted, toxic agenda to the ground. You can't make peace with evil, so destroy it. Then we can rebuild it with love, with the archetypes from Venus, Jupiter and the Sun. I will share with you Mars-fueled real fire and real actions. Attack where the enemy is unprepared. Appear where you are unexpected. Revolt in the street. At best, the crowd can take over a bank or government building, but each don't really need these buildings. It doesn't stop the agenda. When we see riots and protesters fighting police, the images we see mean little, because we've seen these images hundreds of times, and the images could have 100 different causal reasons. It could be animal rights, tranny rights, BLM, left wing, right wing, let refugees in, give us more vaccine supplies. It could be anything, and with mainstream media blackouts on Rona protests, and protests being easily co-opted, it assures little effect. But the men with nothing to lose will soon revolt. The men who wanted to be left alone will soon revolt. Okay, how do the elite work? They use talismanic images. Only a few people were in the towers on 9/11. Empty floors and dummies were used for the TV show. And the Chinaman Rona'd up deads on the floor images. But wow, those were really talismanic powerful images. They changed so many minds. So stay with me. What are the heads of the elite's Hydra? The New York Times, The Guardian, Sky News, CNN, BBC, big tech like Google, Facebook, and of course the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the CDC, the G20, Mossad, the IMF, the central banks, Pfizer, to name just a few. These are much more talismanic targets than the city high street or a government or banking building, and all are guilty of conspiracy to mass murder, mass theft and mass mutation. Now the addresses for all these places are very simple to find, security low. Many server farms of these outfits, these addresses aren't hard to find either. Imagine images going around the world of any of these offices being destroyed with fire like the dark witches' covens they are, in this fictitious sci-fi scenario with no real-world intent. These talismanic images would create a massive consciousness change in the collective and ignite revolt energy that would be unstoppable, destroyed by divine masculine in righteousness. They are already scared as the World Economic Forum cancelled their open forum recently due to death threats. Now this is highly probable just a psyop to make them less public. Either way, they know they're in danger. But hang on, why not go to the boss and controllers of the Hydra? BlackRock and Vanguard are the major shareholders of the world's largest matrix corporations. Big pharma, defense, oil, gas, mining, mainstream media, farming and packet food, fashion, all the centralized big tech, banks, telecoms, and everything else you can think of really, and all we just saw for sure. They have over 20 trillion invested. They are the largest shareholder in 90% of the S&P 500 companies and basically own the world. Even donation-based big foundations, forums, think tanks and many NGOs are all controlled by BlackRock's anonymous donations and funding. Bloomberg, also in the gang somewhat, calls BlackRock the fourth branch of government because it's the only private agency that closely works with the central banks. BlackRock even lends money to the central banks and also advises them. The biggest shareholder in BlackRock is Vanguard. So who are the shareholders of Vanguard? Now this information is private, and for sure this is the big 2030 families. Hit BlackRock and Vanguard and you really hit them in the nuts. And Larry Fink on the left is the CEO of BlackRock, Mortimer Buckley on the right is CEO of Vanguard. Fill your boots. Same race and ideology. Isn't it fun doing this fictitious sci-fi scenario stuff with no real world intent? Another way to work with Mars Energy to seriously change the world is this, and this is for serious revolters fueled with divine fire only. Against popular opinion, real intelligent revolt doesn't need the masses. It doesn't need big numbers. Remember my short story in the Neurion book, where one person changed the world? It's not that hard. One quiet lone tiger is much more dangerous than a pack of barking dogs. One person, or just a small group, could create a private smart contract system based on private crypto that pins up a hit list, a wanted reward system for crimes against humanity. And this hit list would be maintained and governed by a DAO, a DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, which is anonymous, purely decentralized, anonymous, untrackable. For example, let's fictitiously play with a hit list. Klaus Schwab, upside down in a garage, begging for redemption, $1 million of crypto will automatically be passed from the DAO. Boris Johnson, relieved of the demon controlling him with ayahuasca, $3 million of crypto automatically be passed from the DAO. Central bank or IMF website hacked and messages of truth displayed about their theft, 300 grand of crypto. Destroying mutant juice buses and tents, 100k of crypto. Turn YouTube or Guardian offices into a fireworks show, $4 million of crypto, and so on and so on. Each week new hit list proposals could be voted on by the DAO and 5 new ones allowed. If an event on the hit list is not done within 1 month, the reward goes up. A Warrior Hero scoreboard is there too, for which anonymous handle has the most rewards. This would ignite anonymous lone wolf righteous warrior bounty hunters. The rewards would be donated by crypto whales and anyone who wants to support the cause, from private anonymous wallets with privacy assets. The rewards would be passed to those who did the events on the list once evidence is voted on and authorized by the DAO. How about Fauci and Gates get crucified in a city centre, $10 million. Now this would gain a lot of traction and press, and of course many of those gatekeepers would come looking. But Pirate Bay and DeFi are still running. You know why? Technically decentralized and DAO. There's nobody there. It's remote anonymous clicks on a screen. The talismanic images alone would change the world. It would smash them. In this fictitious sci-fi scenario, we're in a world in. Think upon this comment. Removing mass murderers by any means necessary removes mass murderers. And that is having a love for humanity. Sometimes the best thing to do is raze it all to the ground in a heroic cleanse. The blood of the heroes is closer to God than the ink of the philosopher and the prayers of the faithful. The great Julius Evola. The Shaolin monks and samurai always fought for sacred righteousness and justice in a calm way, with zero tolerance for compliance to oppression. If going down this path, keep a Zen state in your heart. If you're a man and Mars energy is not alive inside you in these times, you are dead inside, already a shadow of a human being. Die with memories and not dreams. Live life before life leaves you. It's the possibility of a dream coming true that makes life interesting. No risk, no story. There's a line in the sand. Those succumb to evil and those still aligned with the light. Aligning with the light doesn't mean to be passive. Remember, the elite at the top of the pyramid are only 300 or so people. All their minions and gatekeepers are all fair game. Those with wisdom will have fire inside them in this time in history. Choose with diligence your action. There is much we can each do. We pulled ourselves apart into these 4 elements, improved, then congealed back together, merging into a purer human archetype. A hidden element now appears, ether. ether solutions, plane of spirit, divine spark, divine essence, divine connection, source, higher self, higher power, the boys upstairs, spirits, human evolution. We will start with the divine sky luminaries, the sky clockwork, archetypes within all of us, as above so below. Key dates for 2022. Eclipse seasons are first half of May and late October to early November. February the 18th, Jupiter in Pisces, sextile Uranus in Taurus. The elite can use this to expand changes in the finance system, but big changes the people might not see, as we may be sent illusions. Individually here we can seize opportunities and maybe rebel in divine righteousness and be slippery to catch. March the 3rd, Mars, Pluto, Venus, Capricorn conjunct, sextile to the Moon in Pisces. There is also Sun, Jupiter conjunct in Pisces. The elite can use manipulation, aggression and bravery to expand their grip on human emotions and societal structures. Individually, we can use this to transform close bonds and relationships. Expansion of righteous intuition is here too. Ask yourself, what do you feel? April the 4th, one of the 3 big dates of the year. Mars and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius, square Moon in Taurus, which is conjunct the North Node. The elite can use this warrior aggression and the darkness of limiting and restricting Saturn to really smash emotions. It's very much on path for them. Individually, could be a bit tricky with emotions and not being able to express yourself. Another big date, April the 12th, Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. The elite can really use this to expand and push illusions and a fake reality onto the masses. Individually, be good for your insight, feeling, intuition and imagination. You may also feel the need to find a meaning in your life. May the 3rd, Jupiter in Pisces, sextile Pluto in Capricorn. The elite can use this for authority and societal change, stamping on people, expanding their manipulation, and people can follow here without too much revolt. Individually, we can show good psychological sense, and natural authority and ambitions can be awakened. We can know and launch a vision of something. July the 1st, Mars in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn. And this one is quite gnarly. The elite can go full power, aggressive, control, battle, manipulation, authority mode, changing the system. It's quite fierce. Individually, could be a good time to revolt in a smart way or hide behind the sofa. August the 1st, Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, square Saturn in Aquarius. I don't really like this one. Mars-Uranus conjunct in Taurus is an aggressive, stubborn change on the finance system or systems of security. Square Saturn in Aquarius means restrictions and limitations. They're all full power here. New radical thoughts could be blocked or rushed in. Individually, just get out of the way. November the 14th, 15th. This is the last of the 3 big hitters. Wow, what a date. Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces, trine to Venus, Mercury, Sun in Scorpio, a rare kite pattern, with Pluto in Capricorn at the base, headed up by Moon in Leo, Cancer cusp. There is also a grand trine in water, near the cusp of fire. Massive dates. The elite will have emotions of people all over the place, or will aim to have, all with an undercover agenda to change societal structures, pretending to be soft, but really it's harsh. Sheep in wolves' clothing energy. Individually, a time to control one's amplified emotions. It is a harmonic pattern. Intuition and feelings will be amplified. If you're in a good place in life, this can aid you to springboard new visions and imaginative manifesting of new ideas. November the 20th, Mars retrograde in Gemini is square to Neptune in Pisces. For the elite, fast-moving aggression and action, and sowing more illusions to the masses. Individually, we can make actions here, fast ones, but no reality from what is in one's mind or wishes. Last key date of the year, December the 23rd, the Sun in Capricorn square to Jupiter in Aries. Again, the elite can use this to cement societal structure changes, expanding them quickly, while most will be Christmas shopping and drinking. Individually, if one is not dependent on the elite's authority by this date, well done. I'll be honest, if reliant or near the elite matrix 2022-24, it doesn't look super pretty. As an offering to all of you who follow my work, and to give this section the respect it deserves, I did a 7-day silent solitude across the December full moon and solstice, and took one for the team. So just know this section is concise. This realm is full of so much organic and natural love and beauty. Therefore, the divine creator intelligence had so much love and beauty, so much high consciousness, so much will to good. The spirit of divine creator intelligence has an essence alive in all of humanity, and an essence alive in the evolution of human consciousness. We all share a part of this. Our souls are journeyers, evolving, and the gift of coming here on an individual level is so we evolve the soul, no matter what the background theatre, no matter what the story. We evolve it through maturing and elevating emotions, perceptions, decisions, all the stuff we've spoken about. In this realm, we need food, water, shelter, and have a deep desire to connect with others. Plus the sky clock is changing each moment. So mix this all together and the motion of life and friction all start moving. And we are forced to make choices and gain resources, and the tapestry of life starts. What also happens in this realm is cyclic resets. You can see my Geology Revived documentary for proof and how this information is suppressed. So this realm has periods of light and dark. At the moment we're in a period of dark. There is an evil that has got in. An evil so cunning it's pretending to be good. It doesn't even have the courage to show itself for what it is. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. The humans here now experiencing all this are being spiritually tested, and the results of this test will collectively pave the way for the next generation and what happens next, and individually mark your soul. Most are failing this test, and most have evolved fear into a deadly mass psychosis. The psychotic mutant juice cult is in its hundreds of millions. I love the beauty, archetypes, and divine essence flowing through humanity. I love human beings, but currently, over 90% of humans are mind-controlled idiots. It's not mutually exclusive. So why is there this evil currently? One or more of these 6 could answer this, in no specific order. 1. The collective subconscious exists in the etheric/spirit world. The collective suppressed darkness of unresolved trauma, greed, fear, amnesia, lack of spirituality has manifest as a dark elite and/or attracted dark spirits. 2. The elite group of families with a little bit of a different bloodline for whatever reason, mostly Khazarian mafia, psychopathic Zionists, are on a mega control trip as they hate everyone else, not abiding by the Talmud. They see us all as Goyim, which is a word for someone not Jewish, and they want us eradicated or controlled. 2a. Big elements of these families are evocating dark spirits and opening dark portals from their rituals. 3. It's cyclic, like the yugas, times of light, times of dark, and the wheel spins. And we just carnated here in a dark time. A time of a big spiritual reset, spiritual birth, possible spiritual jump, darkest before dawn. 4. Maybe the elite know a spiritual upgrade, reset, or cataclysmic transformation is coming soon and want to take as many souls out of the chance of catching the new frequency. 5. This is a plane of liberation above our higher etheric realms, below our lower etheric realms. This is the only place where a soul's karma and evolution can really shift. So some creator beings are trying to help us by throwing us crazy puzzle boxes in the shape of dark spirits. Bit like the Hunger Games, or the old SimCity game, where out of nowhere some monster would come and destroy all you thought was normal and stable. Don't drive yourself crazy analysing which one though. It's kind of futile. Personally, I go with cyclic times of light and dark, and the elite are doing crazy rituals with dark spirits. To digress, I'm a bit perplexed why not one priest, monk, rabbi, cleric, Zen master, guru or nun hasn't made any video like this or sharing any information like this. Sadhguru, who the New Agers love, over 10 million views on many of his videos, hugging Klaus Schwab. One spiritual person I know said maybe he is above it all and spiritual people can overcome the mutant juice as everything is consciousness. I then asked her to drink a bottle of vodka and overcome the natural biological reactions. She declined. The New Age was a clever trick by the elite. It took many off the chessboard. There is also no mainstream religious leader coming to save you either in these times, as near all are on the mutant juice. Each generation gets a puzzle box. Wars, plagues, cataclysms, mudfloods, droughts. This mass genocide and DNA mutation is the biggest attack on souls probably since the fall of Atlantis. The 0.5% of us that really see the full narrative, we are really supposed to be here now, that's for sure. Now, funnily enough, there was enough evil flying around before the Rona, but most just couldn't see it. What sort of a world are we in when we have to pay for clean water? Where corporate plastics pollute, where forests are cut down, where fiat scam coin harvests energy, where share prices with perpetual growth comes before humanity and nature. So with the current narrative, more have woken up to evil, and that's kind of good. But this evil really needs putting down, like a crazy dog. Evil is deranged, it eats itself up, and like a whirlpool or tornado, it takes out everyone in its path, not just people, even the food supply, businesses, supply chain, banks, economy. All is going to be swallowed up by this evil as it eats itself. Evil control seeks more evil control, because that's the nature of evil control. The fear of death is for unspiritual beings. Evola and Pyasaka, known as Baba, both said atheists are lower than animals, worthless eaters, and they said it with compassion, and both did so much to wake people up. Paradoxically, this is what the Khazarian Mafia see from the Talmud too, but they see it from their own cult and without compassion, and with a big sprinkle of genocide. Baba also said, the absence of divinity is the root of all atrocities. He also said it was a duty of good people to declare war against oppressors. It's quite funny how so many of his followers don't actually follow his teachings, but I'm sure they can sing the nice songs. What happened recently is the unspiritual humans with a fear of death listen to the TV and the doctors. So it is for sure unspiritual people are a big root problem too. Unspiritual people have a love for service to self and entertainment, little involvement in processing shadow. These are the ones that have fallen deepest into the fear, and dark etheric beings feed on people's fear and darkness. So it's the unspiritual people acting as restaurants, inviting dark spirits to come and eat all they want. Most of the unspiritual people in the Matrix drinking the mutant juice, they're now as good as possessed. I hope you can see how atheism is a big root problem. A great old quote is, atheism is more in the head than the heart of men. And the root problem of atheism is the wrong cosmology, and I've done years of work on that subject alone on this very channel. I want to digress a little to the mystics in ancient Greece. They said, we are not our minds. They said all thoughts and emotions come from spiritual beings that exist in your soul matrix in the higher planes. Invisible forces doing the thinking and feeling for you, but the ego believes it is the self. They said the individual is always channeling higher forces to the lower realms, guardian angels or demonic parasites, known at the time as genie or daemon, D-A-E. And the genie and daemon were responsible for all we call mind, and were concealed from the sensory organs. When a genie or daemon comes to a human soul, it sprinkles in its own notions. When calm, the good spirits bring forth wonderful things, and rise one's soul to wisdom. When chaotic and service to self, an evil daemon transmutes your soul to wickedness, and encourages lust, greed, and violence. Both of these spirits are always seeking your attention. When we reclaim our consciousness, like many truthers have done, only then can we not be influenced by these dark spirits, and connect more to spirits there for our good. This sort of information was hidden, stamped upon, it was overlaid by the New Testament, where pretty much every external entity was claimed to be a devil or a bad demon, D-E-M, unless Jesus or God. Just something to have a little think about. Back to the present. Many currently possessed souls are being pushed out of the soul cycle, off the wheel. When they leave this realm, they're just going to get munched by dark spirits or fall into a dark spirit and make that dark spirit power up. Off the chessboard of evolution. People you know too. The ultimate goal for us is to evolve out of this realm. Like a God spark evolves from mineral to vegetable to animal to human kingdom, the human must then evolve enough to pop out of this realm and move to a higher realm. This could take hundreds or thousands of carnations. We have progressed technologically, but we have regressed spiritually and morally. What does the divine creator intelligence create? Life. What is the source of life? DNA. DNA is the language or coding of life. What happens from making love? The creation of brand new DNA. So no, love creates God force. Human love creates new divine source code. Love is divine intelligence. And the elite are tampering with this divine source code and putting people into fear. A complete opposite vibration to love. You can't really get more evil. Pick any concentration camp ever. Nothing comes close. It doesn't come close at all. I know an energetic healer who, when she puts her hands on a mutant juice client, both feel nothing. And she could before they were juiced. She used the term spiritually dead. So we're in a spiritual battle for the human soul. The boys upstairs, the boys of light, you can call it Jesus, Zeus and his crew, the 10th and final carnation of Vishnu on his horse, a gang of 144,000 higher selves. The labels are unimportant. The boys upstairs aren't showing an etheric appearance until at least 2025-27. They've hit snooze on their alarm clocks, so to speak. The memo is, souls down here need to feel more pain so they can look at their own darkness and ignorance, then wake up. I told them that's a bit harsh. They reminded me of the memo before carnating that said, Earth is a realm for spiritual lessons and you might get squeezed from time to time. Mythologically, it is said Vishnu's last and 10th carnation down here would only be when it is riddled with demons. Vishas, not sure what you deem as many demons, but I can assure you some divine fumigation is required. Humanity is on a tightrope. It is being tested individually and collectively. It could also be said that humanity is living through what could be considered a door or a hole. The decision to fall into the hole or go through the door is yours. If you decide to go through the door, you've got to stay in play for a few more years, holding true to your morals and principles. Only the souls of purity and righteousness will make it. But those that go through the door will get the etheric fruits. Remember, it's a barrage of challenges, puzzle boxes and tests in this divine spiritual realm. So look at this time as fun, like a divine video game. The final boss is here, and you're being judged. Decent graphics. The pure DNAs cannot really die. The body can, but you can't. So what can we do spiritually? A big key is to remember what you are. Rumi poetically wrote, "Who art thou? The design of all. Who am I? The desire of the design." A part within you is the eyes and essence of the divine creator intelligence, or call it Supreme Consciousness or God. You are a divine being. You count. You come from realms of unimaginable power and light. That which existed before the beginning and will continue after the end, you are that thing. Do protect your spirit, because we are in a place where spirits are getting eaten. Spirituality is really a personal relationship with the divine, achieved through having a relationship with the divine in the self. Religion is similar, but oftentimes can be seen as more crowd control. What else can we do spiritually? You can go to a cacao polyamorous dance party with Shiva songs and hug strangers and pretend you are a family, and all this evil will evaporate. Just kidding. Darkness is just a lack of light. Simply more light overpowers darkness, so shine light. Evil is just a lack of good. Simply more good overpowers evil. So do good, be good. There are some people who have a big grasp on the agendas at play, but don't have some sort of connection to divinity in their hearts. Now is a very good time to cultivate it. As the forces of light stroke boys upstairs have hit snooze for a few years, they can't affect much for a few years. But the forces of light need you to align to them. The forces of darkness are a bit different. They come to you and interfere and try and control you, but you have to give your consent to them at the end, at the last minute. But the forces of light, they can't affect here for a few years, but you can connect to them. They're waiting. We need to be like the divine creator intelligence, to create new with love, like what happened with all this beauty in this realm. We can only do this if we have a raised, elevated consciousness with divine connection. Then naturally we will have a raised, elevated perceptions, ideas, empathy, emotional maturity and creativity, etc. We need this elevated consciousness, as from a blank canvas, we really need new systems of living together, new ways to look at value, new ways to look at teams, leaders, governance and inventions. To bring astrology into much of this is my view. Also to learn afresh about what it is we really need and ways to ethically share and inspire others. As Julius Evola said, only an institution ordained into the superior principle of being can help humanity and bring things in an upward progress. Capitalism is a finite construct. It ought all in its path to have more and more and more, or to lose. Communism taught us lack, tyranny, and grey conformity. All these other systems are old paradigm garbage too. If we play it right, in a few years there might be a gap to really create something new. Start thinking now, as I think soon there will be downloads awaiting those seeking to catch. I'll tell you this, even when the good guys win, that Western capitalism, Disney cartoon, vanilla system, that is dead. That is never coming back. That is in the history books. So as you can imagine, it may get a little rough for a little while new seeds sprout and grow. So how does one elevate consciousness? Well, we just actually did it by enforcing much of what we looked at in the prior 4 elements sections. You'll be pretty much there. Meditate, pray, affirm, shadow work, healing, trauma healing, all great too. Removing all that doesn't serve your highest good from your life, great too. With a decision or new path or new people, simply ask yourself, is it sacred or not? I can't in words tell you the importance of the Etheric Solutions Part 1 short video, the way the 144,000 of us can connect etherically at distance. I know many are doing this and getting something from it. I certainly don't see this as my video or my gig. It's something we can all benefit from. I was going to share a framework, structure and tips for a really good 7-day silent solitude, but I don't want to cast pearls before swine, so a link is in the description. The Vipassana gig pumped all around the world doesn't help too much. Sitting uncomfortably in a room full of the opposite sex for 10 days, your aura really needs more space. Vipassana is more of a challenge in discipline than deep spiritual evolution. Yeah, it can help, but there is much more gold in the mines if gifting yourself 7 or 10 days. Some of you may recall I spent 2 years with some mystics 17 years ago and wrote a book shortly afterwards. Center yourself in your own stance of light. Develop your quality of light. Align to nature and natural order. Each human has so much power within. It's wise in these times to see the New Age as entertainment and not so much a spiritual path. I know it's nice to hang out with good-looking single people who enjoy freedom more than most, but comments regarding the current narrative like, I'm just going to observe and surrender, and I'm not polarizing on the vaccine opinions, are quite toxic and dangerous. Spending some hours in a group spiritually and not talking or working on what's going on for even 10 seconds, it's strange, it's bypassing. Living in the frequency of love is mentioned a lot, but most pretending to do this lack discernment and lack situational awareness and have no idea we're in a spiritual war. Living in the frequency of love is a love of wisdom and discernment in these times. Love is the medicine though, for sure. Love yourself, love divinity, love truth, love everyone. Done. If everyone done this, yeah, utopia in 2 seconds flat. But we kind of have a dark elite for centuries that recently just decided to turn itself into a crazy full-throttle tornado and bring loads of dark spirits with it, possessing souls. We should all be more loving. But being loving in your local community won't stop CBDCs or Booster 567. This is another short section for those wanting to revolt. This is more spiritual revolt. This section is really only for mystics, a person who believes in the spiritual apprehension of truths that are beyond the intellect. This action is really only for those who can separate what images, sensations and energies are coming from your mind or your imagination or your higher self or other spirit beings. Otherwise this sort of stuff can get real messy real quick. Having some learnings in the symbolic language of spirit helps too. So, one can, over time, work with spirits close to your part of the world. In Mexico be the Maya spirits, in Europe the elementals, in India the Hindu spirits, in America Jesus and the Native American spirits, Catholic countries the archangels, in Asia the Nagas. Connect to them and over a while help them to understand what is going on. Most will already know and will probably kick your ass. And aligning with the sky clock and combined intention, funnel some of their divine righteousness archetype into amulets, talismans or sigils and place these at G20 meetings, WHO meetings, World Economic Forum meetings, BlackRock meetings or hotels where the elite are staying, and heal all these people or neutralize them. Magic, some of you scream. Well, every thought is a prayer and every word is a spell. And everyone agrees it's wise to control thoughts and words and give intention to them. You're all doing magic every day. You've just been conditioned otherwise. Some might freak out at me sharing that. But there is a spiritual war on, and some of us need to try and attack the Death Star. What are we doing here? Why are you watching this? So many people call themselves spiritual, and a spiritual war comes along, and next to nobody stands up. By default, let's get this clear. Anyone claiming to be spiritual and doesn't know there's a spiritual war isn't spiritual. Go and see a local spiritual yoga teacher. Ask her about the current spiritual war. Ask her what she's doing. See her face. It's quite laughable. What's going on now is 100 times worse than the 1930s. It's not someone wants your land, or some people to speak another language, or to grow their political ideology. This is technical mutation to DNA and affecting the soul, and turning the world into AI control. Did you get the memo? Or has the repetition desensitized you? It's beyond war. I don't have the words for what this is. Ooh, it makes no sense they're getting the third vaccine. Sure, it makes no sense. But you claiming to be spiritual, but not knowing we're in a spiritual war, that makes less sense. Less than the lemon getting the third vaccine. as frankly, the lemming was always going to get the third one. But you, spiritual person, you not knowing we're in a spiritual war, that is much worse. And you might have to meditate on this, but I'm telling you, the boys upstairs are telling me to tell you it is worse. So have a look at yourselves. Please, with love. It's supposed to be a documentary, not rally the troops. Honestly, spiritual people who don't know there's a spiritual war. Okay, it's like a mechanic who doesn't know what a spanner is. If your local yoga teacher tells you her role in the spiritual war is teaching people to stretch, tell her from me, say Wakey Wakey says, the judgment hall has already decided, not good enough, won't wash, won't make the cut. While we're at it, I can't believe I'm doing this, there are spiritual people without a love for knowledge, without a love for truth. Forget wisdom. I mean, how does that make any sense? Forget the war thing. You speak to these people and you say, what do you think of this mutant juice elite stuff? See, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the mutant juice. Okay, but what do you think about what's going on? I don't want it. I'm not getting it. What sort of answer is that? It's just pure service to self. These people claiming to be spiritual. I don't know what? They spent a week in Rishikesh, read a Buddhist book once. This lot are going to get a very big wakey wakey in the afterlife. Holy moly. Okay, I did the maths. The percentage of humans on Earth that know the narrative, love truth, have their four elements, all we've been through, pretty chakra up, pretty good state, and know we're in a spiritual war, the percent of people in the world is 0.0000000. Really, I did the maths. Seriously, it's now or never, and it's us or no one. When you go to the judgment hall, they will ask you, and I guarantee you, what did you do during the great once every 20 zillion millennia great epic spiritual battle for human souls? If you answer, I sat around online, watched some videos, posted a few memes on Facebook, it won't be good enough and it won't wash. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Won't be good enough, won't wash. So please, have a look at yourselves. With love, pretty please, huggy huggy. It's time to do something. You've been given the gift of human life at a time of a colossal spiritual war. Are you acting accordingly? Each person doesn't need to revolt, but there is much that can be done. If you want, make sandwiches for the medics, so to speak. There are many positions available. After the Apocalypse Office joke actually becoming a real thing for 2 years and having to close it down as it got too busy and less emergencies, I'm really hoping this now doesn't create a spiritual war lieutenant hotline. Seriously, I'm going to hang up on you. So now we all know there's a spiritual war on. Clap, clap, clap. It doesn't matter if you're using Gnostic, Rosicrucian, Golden Dawn, Christian, Sufi, Vedic means. Personally, I would stay clear of New Age, Wicca, or any strange bespoke pagan gigs for attack. But do what you need to. There's a war on. If you come from light, you're good to go. You don't stop a dragon slayer because you don't like his sword. If he's keen, he goes to fight. Pray, meditate, ritual, talismans, amulets, sigils, use whatever you can in light and divine righteousness, and don't dogmatically hate another for doing something different to you. We need a variety of light. Okay, moving on to some predictions and speculation. Between now and 2030 is so pivotal. It's not decided yet how it will pan out, as humanity's actions collectively will decide. Here are what I see as different potential timeline outcomes in the coming years. 1. Big awakening through mass awareness of lies, and then mass revolt worldwide in the shape of waving placards and fighting police. Governments don't use their militaries, central banks, supply chain control, or 5G for defense, and quietly disband. BlackRock give their $20 trillion to African poverty and cancel the Great Reset, AI Web3, and CBDC's projects. That one's a joke, by the way, but many people are on board with this one. 2A. Dystopia for most. Us lot not hunted down really. We coexist. We can get on with our lives quite easily away from it. Little tricky to overlap or travel through the matrix or deal with it online. We get sort of shut out. Sporting events, city restaurants, impossible. Flying about, tricky. 2B. Dystopia for most, but us lot more hunted down. One thing nobody's talking about, the mutant juice could also be protection against a future bioweapon. So they take out the purebloods, the truthers, the dissidents. Being a pureblood in an EU city, good luck with that. 2C. Dystopia for most, but a sort of dimension split where we can't really see or feel each other, but share the same realm. 3. Octave jump, a reset. New frequency wave sweeps the realm. 144,000 spiritually tuned, aware purebloods catch it. It splits souls into two different realms, two clearly different dimensions, apart from each other. In this, a cataclysm of sorts where the earth wakes up could be evident. Kind of Book of Revelation stuff in here too. The new place will be more telepathic and travel possibly by thought intention, something more etheric, a bonus level so to speak. In this dimension split theory, maybe the divine intelligence gets to experience itself more. New God-spark souls concarnate down in mutant juice dystopia demon dimension, or up in telepathic wonderland dimension, in which each soul goes to the realm that matches its frequency at the time of the event, at the time of the new wave, at the time of the new frequency. So take your pick, 1, 2A, 2B, 2C, or 3. To get more playful and imaginatively speculative, there is an error with the human mind. It doesn't work properly. There's a kind of bug. It's too easily hacked and too easy to control with spells, NLP, image, and repeated beliefs. Maybe the divine creators are preparing a reset, an evolutional octave jump, so we can get the mind update patch, like restarting a computer. Maybe the elite know this event is coming too, and are making sure we don't catch it via mutant juice, chemtrails, 5G, fluoride, etc. It's a long list. Disregarding all speculation, two trains are for sure in a race. The elite train to destroy, downgrade, and mutate humanity, and the good guys train, living organically, trying to evolve the soul and embody wisdom. A head-on collision will come in a few years. Something has to give. If you take one thing from this whole presentation, it is the time to upgrade yourself. Birthing anything new is a painful process. Every soul will get the experience it needs and attracts. Within humanity is a divinity, a purity, a will to good, so much heart, so much goodness, so much creativity. We can never lose faith in this, so always grace over grudges. The soul needs friction to evolve. Ever been on a paradise beach for more than a few days? It gets boring. Your soul starts to try and get the tapestry of life moving again, so it can evolve through the four elements. I'm not sure if any of you have had a near-death experience or a big hero dose shamanic journey. Souls not here would give so much to experience one day here, even if it was like it is now. So much potential for experience and pure potential itself. To pilot a body that you can choose actions, location, and communication is such a gift. Well, it's all a little restricted now, but that's the battle for freedom. There's going to be so much going on soon, you won't know where to look. They need to pull on the throttle more, as if letting it chill, people would get their bearings and work it out and wake up. The elite need people in an exponentially increasing frozen, anxious state for their agenda to win. A couple of weird notes. If a big earthquake ever happens near Christchurch, New Zealand, it's time to get high up, as the earth is about to shake. 2025 to 27, I feel boats will be useful to many people. Two things are 100% certain. I've seen them clear as day. Western cities in chaos comes next, and the end of cash in big nations comes after. These two are certain. Much of the rest is up for grabs. 2025-27, some new energy is coming. The elite will get blindsided. I'm spending less time responding to random messages from now on. 2020, 2021, my inbox was blasted. Please use the Telegram group in the description. Later in 2022, I will work on another short story book, as fictitious and conceptual delivery of allegory and message is more timeless, I feel. When needed, I'll do another video like this at the end of 2022 or 23. Don't fear death. Inside is the treasure, as when you pass, it's all that is inside that lives, and all external from this realm dissolves. Wisdom is one of the most sacred things here, freedom even more so. Purity always triumphs over wickedness. Bravery is the only option, courage is the only way.